So I helped Ali Abdaal make $130K with his high-ticket offer, the part-time YouTuber accelerator, all without a army of high-ticket closers, launching a new product, or building a really complex ass funnel. It was just me, just 2 to 3 hours per day as his fractional head of sales. And the result? Kind of stupid, kind of unfair, and not gonna lie, it kind of still shocks me that we actually did this. Now, to be fair, Ali got motion. I think that's what the kids say. He has a huge email list, a YouTube channel with over 6 million subscribers, and with that type of reach, it doesn't take that much to get something working. But even with that size of that channel, he was only doing about 20K per month when I came on. And after coming in and a few months later, we actually hit 130K in a single month, averaging about $2,700 per lead. If you're not in the industry, every time I pretty much hopped on the Zoom call, it was basically like printing $2,700 for his business. And not gonna lie, that's more than what most creators make from AdSense in a whole year, to be honest with you. And this is all before he killed the whole high ticket offer. Subscribe if you want tea on that one, by the way. But real talk, this is what modern sales should actually feel like. It should feel simple. It should feel human, not like a ChatGPT bot, and it should be wildly profitable. So in this video, I'll break down exactly how I built and ran the system, all without being the next sales Rizzler, selling your soul, or being a Wolf of Wall Street, my favorite movie, by the way. But first, let's talk about the biggest thing most people get wrong about selling high ticket offers. Because even if you follow every step that I'm about to lay out, none of it is going to matter if you miss this one part. So the first thing that we need to understand about selling is that sales should not feel like the guy sending 14 texts an hour after the first date. I had to give this crazy analogy because honestly, most people sell like this.
Do you love me? Do you love me? Are you attracted to me?
And ironically, this is what Ali's sales system felt like when I first joined. It was giving some serious, desperate, do you like me now? Do you want to work with me? Type energy. Like some of the things I noticed that his Calendly had like over 10 slots open with 20 minutes each every single day, and none of them were really booked up. It had no application process. Literally anyone could book and anyone could just click on a link and buy. There was no friction whatsoever. On the calls, when I was listening and doing an audit, I noticed like language like, hey, I can do this bonus, maybe discount the price and do this and this. And yeah, it just came off very desperate. Now, I know that the team at the time was very against like traditional selling, and I am too. And I get it. Being selective feels really, really risky. I think most new business owners like myself, you worry that you'll lose deals. You're worried that you'll miss opportunities. You're worried that you're just going to scare people off. And real talk, this was actually the hardest mind shift thing to get the team on board with. And I spent months going back and forth on this too, because high ticket is a premium experience. But here's the truth. Desperate energy kills desire, especially when people want to work with you. So if you've ever been on a date, it's kind of like telling someone, oh, my ex used to do that on the first date. Please don't ask me how I know that. And because the team wasn't selective, the numbers didn't lie. Before I stepped in, we were doing about 20K per month. It wasn't bad as a solo creator, but when you got things like payroll, coaches, and a full team, that gets tight really quick. So what we needed was this with or without you energy. Shout out to Daniel Priestley.
I think people like to get involved in something that they feel is happening. It also demonstrates that you're a key person of influence, that you're actually an influential person in your industry, that you have the confidence to say, I'm putting this on and it's going to happen. We're going to make the movie. We're going to launch the business. We're going to do the thing. We're going to raise the fund.
One of my favorite interviews with Daniel Priestley was actually with Chris Do. And he goes over kind of like the basis of hype, because let's be real, all hype actually starts with doing something cool and inviting people to just come along with you. This analogy gets used all the time, but it's kind of like Harvard. When you think about Harvard, they don't chase high school students down the hallway with flyers. They make you apply, no exceptions, even if you know someone. They make you pay for the application fee, and even then, you still might not get in. That's why you see Asian kids all over the world flying to Harvard Square to touch the boot on that statue. Very overrated, by the way, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm just jealous I didn't get him. The way we need to think about selling is that we're actually not selling anything. We're doing something cool. We're building momentum. And you're just inviting the right people to come along if they vibe out with it. I think the key thing to realize is that we're doing this anyways, with or without them. And that's where the with or without them energy comes in the first place. And like I said, Ali already had motion. He had 6.26 million YouTube subscribers. He had the best-selling productivity book, Feel Good Productivity. He was friends with the biggest creators on YouTube. So we didn't really need to beg. We didn't really need to be desperate. What we needed was just a sales system that just matched his level. So instead, I kind of reframed it to the team like, hey, we're building something cool called the Part-Time YouTuber Accelerator. We have cool creators. We have our actual team, Ali's actual team to help you. And we have a structure to just help you win with your YouTube channel. If you want to be a part of this, fill out the interest form below. And if you're fit, we'll just let you know when we actually have a spot. But it wasn't just enough to just say this out loud. We needed a sales system that actually reflected that energy. So how do you build one that gives off that with or without you vibes? I did this in 4 steps, and I'm going to teach you what I did with Ali. Each one of these steps was designed to slowly build a sales process that runs like a machine, even when you're not there, and it significantly reduces the friction. But here's the thing, you can't skip any steps, because if you rush it, you'll end up with that "do you like me" energy, which leads me to step 1, building a waiting list. So when I first came on the team, there were a few problems. The closer told me it took a lot of follow-ups to actually close a deal, which usually means 1 or 2 things. Either 1, the sales process is pretty clunky on the closer's part, or 2, there's no urgency or scarcity built into offer. Around the same time, the team told me that they wanted to increase the price. The team was actually kind of burnt out and kind of needed a break. And Ali and his team wanted to change the whole offer entirely. And then literally overnight, I found out that we're pausing the offer while I was mid-sales calls. I was like, my life, dude. And there was another problem too. We also had videos and links driving existing traffic to book calls with us. So imagine watching one of Ali's videos and it's telling you, hey, book in a call with us, but we stopped pretty much running the program. And at the time, we didn't have this system to capture the people who wanted to buy later. And to me, I was like, dude, it's a shame that people want to buy from us. We're just letting that interest disappear into a void. So that's where I kind of came in. And the first thing I did was build a waiting list. One of the problems I saw with Ali and most actually high ticket offers I see is that they have no urgency, which is like, why should you buy now? No scarcity, how many people can you actually help? The limited number of slots. And something like a waitlist actually solves both of these and also builds hype, which is telling people other people are joining at the same time. A waitlist, in my opinion, implicitly says, hey, we got interest, we're opening on X date, and we're only taking on X number of clients. And before you're like, oh my God, Kevin, isn't that kind of deceptive? The truth is, every offer has real capacity limits. You only have so much time, so many coaches, so much energy. You pretty much have limited resources for anything. The only difference my approach was that I was just being very, very clear and honest about those limits. And a lot of people don't take the time to really figure that out. In the back of most people's minds, they're like, hey, we can hire more people, we can do that. And yes, you can, but honestly, it can make the business a lot more complex. And I think Vanessa in her recent video was talking about the hamster wheel of like getting people in, trying to support those people, the team getting bigger, and then you have to manage those people. It's a never-ending rat race. You can't just throw money at it. So how did I actually create this waitlist for Ali? The first thing I did was swap out the call booking link with a waitlist form. For Ali's team, we actually used Typeform, and we used a Zapier to kind of link to HubSpot. I freaking hate HubSpot, by the way. It's really expensive, overused, blah. But if you're doing this and you want to create one, you can do one through Airtable, one of my favorites, and Google Forms. I have affiliate links below if you like. I believe Airtable is free for most people, but yeah. Next thing we did was create a simple waitlist form. Don't worry about like creating a whole application form. This waitlist form is just getting people to raise their hand. So like some of the things that we collected were like the name, the email, the phone number, and what made you want to apply in the first place. And then the third step was kind of promote the waitlist as well. To be fair, with Ali, we already had traffic coming in, so we didn't really need to promote it. We only promoted the waitlist after we had everything built and after I kind of interviewed a few people. But if you're just starting out and you need to promote your waitlist to people, this is how you can do it. Let's take a note from Daniel Priestley, Mr. DP over here.
This year, we did something special with a certain type of client. We got a remarkable result. So share the story, the magic sentence story. I said, just letting you know that we now don't have any capacity for new clients till the end of the year. But if you're interested in doing something similar in the year ahead, let me know by just either responding to this message or I'll give you the link to join our waiting list or our expression of interest form. And I said, your job is between now and the end of the year is to get 40 names on that list so that there are 40 people who have filled in the expression of interest form.
Daniel Priestley actually recommends to get 40 people, but if you're running like a more intimate high ticket offer or you're just beta testing, I think 10 to 20 is good enough. After you do this, it means that you're ready for the next step. Step 2, write a messy as application process. Here's a hot take. You don't want to rely solely on sales skills or sales riz to close deals. You want an irresistible offer and, more importantly, an application process to position that offer that is so clean that even the most untalented people could theoretically close your offer. That doesn't mean we're hiring your mom or that rando from Skid Row, but that's what Ali's system was actually missing. And what I noticed is that we had a wait list, but we had no application process to kind of filter these people out. So after a few months, we were ready to relaunch the offer. Literally overnight, I got a message from the team. Apparently, the team during these like 2 or 3 months, they took time to rest. They took time to rethink about what they wanted to change about the offer, what was more sustainable for them. And they wanted to increase the pricing from $5K over 12 months to $6K over 6 months with a $5K upgrade if you're a existing student. And this was all without consulting me or keeping me in the loop, by the way. It's okay. I kind of processed it, kind of. When I look back, honestly, I think the accelerator could have been priced even higher for what they were giving, but it's all good. Anyways, we're getting ready to relaunch. And at first, the team was just like, hey, Kevin, we're just going to blast out an email. I was like, dude, that is a freaking horrible idea. Oh, I didn't say it like that, but I said it more tactfully. But here's why. Like, first thing, I was the only person taking sales calls. I think if we blasted out to the 400 or 500 people that were on our wait list, dude, my calendar would fill up like that. Also, the second thing was like, if we just blast out an email, I would have to deal with the same like, hey, why did the price go up questions like 17 times a day, which is not fun. And the last thing is more of a courtesy thing. I just wanted to really respect people's time, especially for people who couldn't afford it, right? Because literally what we're doing was shortening the time and increasing the price. And so what we needed was an application process that could filter out that wait list and just give people a heads up. Especially in this industry, you'll see a lot of people talk about appointment setters and all that sort of stuff too. Not saying that those don't have its place, but when you're trying to keep things small and minimal, you want to build a system that kind of qualifies the leads and books appointments automatically without burning you out. In the business world, I like to think of this as a automated appointment setter. And in college terms, it's kind of like the missions board. They decide who gets an interview, who doesn't, who kind of fits the culture. And even when you try slipping $100 on the table to get into Harvard, it doesn't work. We'll talk about how we did it later. But the point is if someone's not a fit or the timing is off or they're just like kind of exploring things, you want to filter them out, or just save them later when they are a fit. That way, you only spend time with the people that actually have high potential. Of course, you could talk to everyone if you want, but if you're trying to scale, you need to add friction, not take it away. Something that a lot of businesses don't think about is about sales team churn. I mean, like recently I was on an offer. I wasn't getting any qualified like leads, and I just eventually left the offer because it was just a waste of time. If you're a business owner or anything like that, you just need to respect everyone's time as well. So how did we actually do this for Ali? I did 3 things. The first thing we did was actually do a general sales page about what the offer was about. We had a new VSL or video sales letter. It just basically breaks down the offer. It kind of also has like the common objections and the common questions and testimonials and all that sort of stuff. It positions it so that people kind of know what the offer is about. And you might be thinking, well, yo, if I have a sales page, why do I need a sales call if I already explained the offer? And I would think about it like this. A sales page tells them what the offer actually is, and the sales call shows them how it fits their specific situation. Just a heads up, I didn't write the accelerator sales page copy. In my opinion, it was too features focused. But a good sales page, in my experience, uses the pastor method. It's my favorite copywriting thing. There's a lot of different copywriting formulas, but this is where it kind of covers like the problem, what's the big problem you're solving. A stands for amplify. Why does this problem actually matter? S stands for story, who you are and why you care and how you figured out the solution. T is testimonials, so wins, proof, or just people saying good shit about you. O is your offer, what you get, the core components of an offer. And R is response. It's call to action. And in this case, for high ticket sales, it's like the apply now button. So yeah. In addition to the sales page, something that we did for specifically for this relaunch of P2YA Accelerator is I had Ali kind of shoot a Loom video explaining why we're increasing the pricing and all that sort of stuff. I thought that just had a more gentle touch, and it was just very empathetic to people who are like, oh, I'm going to be paying more and getting half the time too. So yeah, that's what I kind of did to preempt the whole like backlash of increasing our price. If I were to go back in time and kind of redo this strategy, I would probably consider doing a last call or doing like a last call with X amount of slots to get at the current price. And I think that is fair, but we're just suddenly changing that overnight, which was definitely not ideal. The second thing that I built out for Ali was an actual form where you qualify leads with questions. Some of the questions I used for this form was like, hey, how did you find out about us, right? What are you hoping to accomplish with the accelerator? What challenges are you facing with your YouTube channel? I had a minimum level of engagement, so a financial question, just to like give people an idea of what it costs. Since there was only one cost for the accelerator, we said something like the accelerator starts at like $6,000. Would this be financially stretching you? We have a timing question where, hey, if you were to do the accelerator, when would you consider starting? And if the answers were good enough, then we would send them to the next page of booking a call. You can use something like Calendly, you can use something like TinyCal, but we use Typeform, HubSpot. Like later down the line, we would use something like ScoreApp to kind of filter out the leads, top funnel and stuff. That's more advanced, don't worry about it. And affiliate links below. The third thing I built out as part of this application process was the calendar booking link. So after they filled out all that information, once we kind of figured out that they're qualified, we needed a way for them to book a call. We had a fallback email in case none of the times worked. So they could just email me and then I could schedule a custom time with them. If you're wondering how, like who gets a call, who doesn't, most platforms, they have conditional logic. So if they answer one thing, like let's say like, hey, no, I don't have enough money, we would redirect them to another page or something like that. Either asking them to email us about their financial situation or going to another offer. Some people call this downselling, right? Now, there's a lot of tools out here. Some tools are really cool because some of them will make you kind of look busy and not have so many slots open. But if you're just starting, like, and you want to recreate this process, you could either use TinyCal, which I prefer because it's a lifetime deal, or you could use Calendly, but you have to manually disqualify. There's intermediate tools like Typeform. That's decent. And then you can use something like Calendly or TinyCal and use Zapier to connect everything. If you're advanced, you can use something like ScoreApp. You can use HubSpot. I don't know who the hell would use that. You can use my kind of favorite, but also a little clunky, Go High Level, because it has a CRM, has quizzes, has automation, and they're always changing their app. I love Go High Level, and I did a review on this channel if you want to check that out. Go High Level actually has this function where it can make you look busy, and they'll show like 40% of your openings or whatever you set for it to. Is really good. Anyways, if you're thinking about using one of these, I'd love for you to end up using my affiliate link. It supports my channel, my editors, and hopefully will get me out of my mom's basement one day. And once you have these built out, that brings us to end of step 2. If you applied what we just talked about, you'll now have 3 things: a system that collects useful information for your calls that you can refer to on your sales calls. You'll have a built-in qualification filter, and you'll have a pipeline of actually interested leads. And even if it's manual for a bit, you'll start having better conversations with better fit people. After you have all these things, you're ready for the next step. Step 3, invite your waitlist to have a conversation. Now it's the right time to invite the people who've already raised their hands to actually hop on a sales call with you. But this is the part where like majority of people mess up. They're just like, oh, can you please book? And they're like begging. If you are running an offer, please don't give off that energy.
We don't do that here.
And instead of like begging people to come on a call with you, your invite should be like cool, chill, casual, right? And you want it to be low pressure. The only thing that's driving urgency and scarcity is your actual offer and your wait list. They do that for you. That's baked into the offer. And so I'm very, very big on not adding like external pressure and really creating urgency and scarcity within the offer. But okay, how do you actually do this? And the best way, in my opinion, is something like email segments, or you could use like email automation. So when I did this for Ali, we use HubSpot, but personally, I recommend go high level because it's way easier to customize. Whatever software that you have, you can use this 4-part email sequence I built. Usually my first email is like a heads up email. So the vibe is like, hey, just a quick heads up, look out for our next email about the PTYA accelerator. We're launching pretty soon, so keep eyes open for the next email. The next email is the invite. Everybody gets this, but basically it says, hey, we're reopening the accelerator with X amount of slots on this date. It's going to be invite only. If you're interested, please book your call before whatever launch date. The third email that we send, we set a conditional if they don't book their call, is the bump. So it's a casual nudge. It says something like, hey, haven't heard from you. Have you decided against the accelerator? Something like that. And then the last one is a closing the loop thing. Hey, we haven't heard from you. I think it's safe to assume that you've gone a different direction. We're closing your spot out. These emails were sent over the course of like seven days-ish, maybe 7 to 10 days. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of constantly following up with someone. If someone wants to do it, they're going to do it. And so once I had these built out, I didn't just send these all at once. What I did was send these manually out in batches. And so what I would do is like tag people and enroll people into these segments. I would probably send about 30 to 50 invites at a time. I would track the replies, tweak any email copy if I needed. And if I got totally flooded, I could open more slots once I had capacity and all that. So I'm monitoring a lot of things, probably way better than just blasting out to everyone, because that would have just been a nightmare for me. And then I would have had so many email requests and all that sort of stuff too. So yeah, I think that was really hard just dealing with a very like new team, because Ali's team didn't really ever do high ticket. That was really hard for me, to be honest with you. Enough about that. I love the team, by the way. So good. After sending those emails, it was then when people were actually starting to book their calls. If you're getting sales calls, now it's time for the next step. Step 4, have a sales conversation, not a sales call. So at this point, I was in the trenches. I built out the waitlist. I built out the application process. I advised on the video. I set up the email sequences / email automations. But you might be wondering now, what the hell do we actually say when someone books a call? And for me, I just like to keep things super, super simple. When I talked to the previous closer for Ali Abdaal's, he told me that they just finished Cole Gordon's sales program. Apparently the team bought it, and I've taken it too. And there's some good stuff in there, but sometimes it just felt so complicated. And when I watched the calls, it reflected it. It came off very stiff. It came off very like the closer was overthinking everything, and the whole process just felt really over-engineered. And honestly, I made the same mistakes when I first started doing high-ticket sales. I was trying to anticipate everything, every single objection, what they would say. I would read it word for word, and it stressed me the fuck out. And worst of all, I hated the process too, and it didn't work. So here's the thing I realized, and it's kind of a hot take. The worst sales calls give off that vibe of that guy who wears a tuxedo to a barbecue. You're trying way too hard, too serious. And so I think the thing that really helps me and helped a lot of the people I've coached in the past was treating the sales call like 3 ways. One, you kind of want to be a therapist, kind of hold space, label emotions, label what they're thinking and stuff too. The second thing is like be a kind of like a business consultant where you have industry knowledge. The third thing is being like someone's almost like best friend, where you're looking out for them and you're kind of giving them the true homie like insights and be like, hey, you should really do this, blah, blah, blah. You can maximize this. And every single sales call, how I aim for it to feel like is to feel casual, low pressure, low intensity, and driven by curiosity, not a script. And typically, if I were to kind of break down the format of my sales calls, it doesn't always go in order, by the way, and the wording will change from time to time. But these are the questions I typically ask on a sales call. I usually have a connection question, kind of like, hey, so curious, what brought you here today? I have a situational question where I'm like, kind of understand their goals. Hey, I know you applied for our program, but by doing something like this, what are you hoping to accomplish? I have a problem question where it's like, hey, when it comes to doing XYZ, when it comes to doing your YouTube channel, what challenges are you kind of noticing? What's top of mind for you? I have solution questions. Prior to this conversation, like, what have you tried so far? Oh my God, how did that go? What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? We have qualification questions. So like I usually do a money qualification. Hey, I like to be very mindful of your financial situation. Our program starts at $6,000. If you were to do something like this, would this be financially stretching you? Add a qualification for timing. So I would say something like, hey, if you were to do something like this, when would you actually consider starting? Sometimes if the application said like months down the line, then I would bring that up. I would be like, hey, you mentioned that you want to start like 3 months down the line. I guess from your end, what are some of the things that we might not be aware about, right? I would have a transition question where I would stop asking questions and kind of be like, well, thanks for sharing everything. I'm not sure if this helps, but what I can do is kind of go over the accelerator. I can answer any questions that you might have, but I think more importantly, I would really want to go over how to make the most out of your time if you're doing something like this. Would that be helpful, or was there anything else that you want to talk about? I would present the offer, and after that, I would have a check-in question where it's like, hey, do you feel like something like this would actually benefit you? How so? Realistically, what concerns do you have, if any, right? Like I would ask those questions. And then if there was like objections, right? Or just concerns, I would label it. I would be like, I might be off, but it seems like you have a reason for asking that. It seems like there's a bit of hesitation. What's on your mind? And then of course, after we did that, I would have the next steps or your closing question. I don't like to label it like that, but I like to outline the next steps where I would say something like, okay, really the next step, if we were to do this, would be XYZ. This is typically your onboarding process, by the way. We could do that, but what do you feel like the next steps would look like for you? What do you feel like is best for you? I know I rushed through the sales process really quickly, but I actually have a whole separate YouTube video on this, on just the sales call alone. You can check out my full sales script breakdown and get my whole high ticket sales course for free in the link below. I believe in zero cost education for business. So yeah, if you sign up, you'll also get access to my newsletter where I'll drop insights like this on the regular. Shameless plug. When I look back and try to see like, hey, why did I close more deals than the previous closer? It really came down to this. I wasn't telling people to do this. I was letting people decide what they thought the next best step what made sense for them. If it was something that I didn't feel like would help them, I was very upfront about it too. One of the major things was like, I just want to be a trusted advisor, and a trusted advisor wouldn't pressure someone to do something. They wouldn't chase someone to do something. They would just provide their insights and perspectives and all that sort of stuff too. I find that if you're able to create that like moment, or, hey, I never thought about that before, that's really interesting. That would be the shifting point when I could just feel that they were ready to buy. And when they were ready to start, I would just send them an email with the payment link and simple follow-up. The follow-up would just be an automated thing, like just bumping it just once or twice. Just kind of like the email segments I told you earlier. It's like, hey, just bumping this. Have you decided against the accelerator? And then closing the loop email too. But really a sales call or just a regular conversation, I just focused on a few things like understanding the situation, how they think. I was assessing whether they're fit or not, and how to help them get the most out of a program like this. And so day after day, like we started getting sales started coming in. And now Ali had a working, simple, high ticket sales system in place. At first it started like with one sale, and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you got it paid in full. That's like an industry term. I hate that term, by the way. But then I ran it back like 23 more times within those 10 days. And that's how we got to 130K. It's really not that complicated, but yeah. So in short, that's how I built Ali's 130K sales system. This system allowed to close people like with low friction and just based off relations without the icky feeling. And you don't have to be a whole Wolf of Wall Street degen to make this work. Eventually, we got up to 150K in 1 month, but let's be real, it's not all about revenue. It's about profit actually. Because even though revenue is coming in and the sales metrics look solid, the offer still died. Anyways, if you want me to do a full breakdown on why Ali shut down his offer from my point of view and what I would do to save it, drop me a comment and I'll do a video on it. Let me know. I'll spill the tea, all the juicy stuff. Otherwise, check out this next video that the YouTube algo thinks you'll love. Peace, my people. Bye. Whoosh.